Yeah, so I guess like you all can hear me. Malik and I will guide you through the what is PANGAEA and then the role of data repositories. So what is PANGAEA? PANGAEA is an open access digital data library for Earth system research, scientific data which are georeferenced in space and time or archived with related meta information in a relational database through an editorial system. There are a lot of data with a lot of topics can be found in PANGAEA, like you can see in the image, like ecology, oceans, atmosphere, etc. So PANGAEA is open to any scientist or any project to archive and publish data. The data is curated by experts, ensures the integrity and authenticity of the data, and published in PANGAEA. PANGAEA is hosted by Avi and Marum, and the system guarantees long-term availability of its content through a commitment of the operating institutions. PANGAEA is certified by Core Trust Seal as a trustworthy repository. The data content is available via a search engine. As you can see, the PANGAEA website image in the slide, you can filter your search results by author, project, location, and so on. Data warehouse, like you can access the data via the data warehouse. It's a tool to combine data from different PANGAEA data sets in one file, but you have to log in to PANGAEA in order to access the data warehouse. And then it can be accessed via other programming tools like languages like Python. Like there is a tool, like module named PANGAEA Py. You can access the data via the module PANGAEA Py. Yeah, so as you can see in the graph, like the measurement data points which are submitted to PANGAEA is increasing in years. There are wide variety of data in various topics related to various projects are archived in PANGAEA. So there are more than 400,000 data sets in PANGAEA and more than 760 projects and more than 22 billion measurement data points. And like every year, like nearly 10,000 new data sets per year is submitted to PANGAEA. And then, so what do we publish in PANGAEA and what not? So we want only georeference data, that is positions, latitude and longitude in decimal degrees, and must be provided for every sample and every observation and measurement carried out anywhere on Earth. Yeah, we accept tabular data, like we are good in handling tabular data, and prefer format or data tables is tab delimited text files and submitted as zip archive or as Excel format. And then like, yeah, we accept binary files. Yes, you can see here in the example. And then like, we don't accept model data which is data which is a simulation of real world processes. And we don't accept software codes, but the code shared in Zenodo can be cross-referenced afterwards. And we don't accept sequence data, but you can publish them in repository like ENA, like European Nucleotide Archive, a repository for sequence data, and then it can be linked via like in the PANGAEA. And our working group, like the team consists of Marum and Avi staff, and then like associated partners, and then data editors. And like we have like a lot of associated research projects. The system is used by various international projects from public funding as data repository. Now I will hand over to Malik. Yes.
Yes, super. Okay. Yeah. Projects, exactly, international projects, and they are deeply embedded into PANGAEA. As for example, you see on the bottom of the screen, iAtlantic and Summer, 2 Horizon 2020 projects. And why is it so important, basically, to publish your data? Yeah, it is today basically a fundamental requirement by funding agencies, but also by publishers of your scientific articles, that you publish your data. Of course, this costs money in several cases, but not at PANGAEA, by the way. So data management funding opportunities are increasing, also not only in the national level, but also in the EU level. So as I said, iAtlantic and Summer two projects where staff of Pangea are working inside these projects, and this is actually where we require, of course, money to invest into this. So it's not that data management in every single submission would cost money at Pangea, that's for free, but of course the people that are working in these projects, they need funds. So the bottom line here is there is more and more opportunities to apply for funding for your data management and publication costs within your projects, third-party projects. So please do so, because we definitely need to push this development further. And this new culture of data publishing is basically very much based on the FAIR principles, which means it's an abbreviation for making data findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. And this is, of course, important for data reusage in our basically contemporarily in our day-to-day scientific life. But in the future, this will be much more important, because then we have the requirement that data will become machine readable, and the data in the databases needs to be organized in a way that machines can actually deal with it. So why is it so important to publish your data fair? And we want to look at this now at different angles. First of all, there's the big picture, what are the benefits for society? So there are now here four benefits or four reasons for society that I put here, but I want to just pick out, because of time constraints, the most striking ones. So it's pretty clear that open data or fair published data, which is not the same, but here I call it open data, can play a role in guiding government policy, which is obvious because the data needs to be accessible and usable for policymakers. And also it's important that it's striking that transparency and accessibility of data will strengthen public trust in science. And if we now go one step further into detail, what are the benefits for the research community as a whole? So there you see the number of reasons or benefits is increasing, and so I can now only pick 3 of these, but you can have a look at all of them later on. So some of the most striking ones is the access for the reuse and reinterpretation of data is of course significantly facilitated through fair data practices, and this also it empowers the scientific community and allows the replication of experiments, which is in some cases really important. Further, it also improves the robustness and veracity, and thus, in the end, the impact of your research results, which is, of course, something that is not only important for the whole, or a benefit to the research community, but also actually to you as an author, as a single researcher. So let's now go to the benefits for each individual author, and you see that the list becomes even longer. So there are more and more benefits. So the more it gets to you, basically, it's the benefits increase. So here the list is headed by that fair data publication basically leads to an increase in your citations of your published research articles, and this can go up to 25% and has been shown by several studies, which are cited here at the bottom of the page. Also, the cross-referencing of the research articles in the research articles that boosts basically the researcher's impact profile. So there are services like Scholix and Data Citation Index that link or cross-link data sets directly with research articles, and that just boosts the impact and your profiles. Also, of course, through fair publishing, you gain recognition and reputation in the community. And that may lead, of course, then to more contacts and new collaborations with your colleagues. And yeah, also you will benefit from that. And it also improves transparency and comprehensibility of research work, which is, of course, also important that people really understand what your research is all about. It also ensures that you receive credit for the credit that you deserve for your work. And isn't that what we all want? So we do something, but we want to have a recognition for this. And for data publications, this is there's a particular aspect of this because data authors are actually not equal to paper authors. So as a data author, you can receive credit only also for data generation and for processing. So you don't have to be actively involved in writing the paper. You can be, but this is a really nice opportunity also to involve authors or contributors that have contributed on another level, like students or technicians that yeah, have contributed to the work, but not to the paper. Yeah, and this is a line that I picked out, which I found really striking also. So it basically says, yeah, the coolest thing to do with your data will be thought of by someone else. And yeah, that's actually the case because I mean, there's your data and there's so many brains that if they have access to it, yeah, there's a high chance that people will find something to do with your data that goes even further. Yeah, and yeah, why should you now publish your data with PANGAEA? Fair publishing is one part, but yeah, where to publish your data? There's a very recent study or a report that came out these days that actually shows that in PANGAEA we have the highest fairness score of all European data repositories, which is a really nice finding. And didn't surprise me at all. PANGAEA is a relational database, and the structure that it has actually gives you the finest comparability of data sets that are included. Yeah, everything is very comparable. You can do basically a metadata study over the whole database. Everything is yeah, relational. Yeah. Then, of course, a very striking factor as well is cost-free. So for individual scientists, at least, and this may also depend a little bit on the data volume that you are submitting. So please have a look at our terms of use. But yeah, generally, it is cost-free. But we are very happy if you, of course, would like to contribute to our budget and if you are interested to work with us and yeah, include us in your project proposals so we can really be actively involved and you have someone at our in our team that is basically doing data creation for you. This is, of course, an option that we very much admire. Yeah, what you get, this is also what Arti mentioned, we offer expert support and quality control of metadata and data during the whole publication process. So your data will be assigned to a curator that is really yeah, experienced in your field of work. And yeah, we offer metadata access and data access to various data portals and search tools. And I'll just give you an overview here where our metadata or data can be found and accessed according to the FAIR principles. So there's a lot of different portals and services that we are linked to. And I will just pick out two of them here. So one is very common that all of us know. Google and OpenAir, maybe not so familiar with all of you, but also a very sophisticated data search engine. And if I have a look here, if we just take an example of a data set in PANGAEA, I want to just show you how we can find this data set in this search portal. So this is a very common data set basically for iAtlantic, for the project that I'm working in. And it's also quite common for PANGAEA. So we have a stable isotope, a stable oxygen isotope measurement of a sediment core. And yeah, so you see in this data set here, that is the web view of one of our data sets. So you see the title on top, and you see some of the metadata on the bottom. And if you now actually use one of these search engines to search for topical terms in this metadata in this data set, like stable oxygen isotopes or sediment core, or you use the project acronym iAtlantic, then you would enter this into one of these search engines, like in Google. And in Google, basically the first hit that you get is this data set in PANGAEA. And this is it's really nicely linked to this to the search engine. And also on the other side here in OpenAir, you get it also as a second hit basically, but the first hit is also a data set that is included in this is a bundled data set basically, and both belong together. So that shows you how closely linked our metadata catalogs are to the search engines to find exactly the data set that you are looking for, and not just some data set that also has stable isotope oxygen isotopes or sediment core data, but it is very specific to these data sets.